Hello, my name is Mordred Viking and I'd like to welcome you to this apparently already cursed stream where we are going to be playing Mexico in the Kaiserreich mod for Hearts of Iron 4. I have tweaked my volume settings slightly so they should be louder. I have worked out finally how OBS can actually boost audio internally. So I'm going to be using that from now on, so hopefully everything is going to be clearer, because I didn't want to increase the gain on the microphone, because what that does is it picks up all the sound around you. So this should be just me, and you should actually be able to hear it, because I was fed up with my audio in the videos, because believe me, I knew I was just being really quiet, and especially when I started talking in a more contemplative type of way, it just wasn't working. So there we go. Okay, so we are going to be playing as the United Mexican State. We start off as a communist. I haven't actually looked at their focus tree at all. I'm going into this completely from scratch. So I think what I'd like to do is go fascist. Or not communist. No, we're going communist. I think you kind of have to. So we can either embrace totalism, or we can get the Legacy as Zapata, or we can get the moderate victory, which is Social Democrats, or we can go for a New Mexico, which is in fact paternal autocrats. It's not communist. So I don't know, what do you guys fancy? Do you want to see yet another communist Mexico? Or do you want to see a moderate Mexico, which looks a little more dull because it has a much smaller focus tree? Or would you like to see a New Mexico, which is apparently paternal autocrat? Military junta must have taken control. So that's purging the Reds, land reform, restructuring the regime. Then we can either go syndicist coup, which is apparently super industrial, and is... oh, that is the fascist thing. I was joking about being fascist, and it is actually possible. Or we can restore the monarchy and go for the Mexican Empire, I guess, which is a new aristocracy, anti-clericism, a little bit of industry. That one seems actually kind of weak. Or we can go with the junta. We can go a capitalist junta, which has a fair, actually has quite a lot of industry. So I'm definitely getting a feeling that the aristocratic one is the weakest. Audio is out of sync with the camera. Of course, my preview is now not working. Man, this is just... everything's going right. Everything is going right now. Of course. Oops. And then we get adverts coming through, of course. Paternal autocrat, imperial restoration, monarchy, straw polls. I have a feeling that we can do this without straw polls. Hopefully. I want to see the USA disappear. Mexico sounds fun down with the commies. Or we can just go communist. So we can go totalist, which is national unity, efficiency, factories and state. Like, it certainly looks like this is the strongest. Yeah, you get an additional research slot, you get more construction speed, you get more steel, you get early mobilization for free, and you get oil. Or we can go with socialism, which is a little bit of industry. It's more population, which is interesting. Or export focuses on consumer goods factories. Or we can empower the unions, which is a boatload of manpower. Construction speed, construction. And then various union demands, which are probably... oh, they might add something. Storm the rigs, which gives us more oil and research. So both of these get a research slot. You also... in fact, all of them probably get research. And these three get the research there at the bottom. Or we can go the moderate victory for land reform, which is max factories in the state, which is interesting. Political power, infrastructure, compromising, which gives other people... oh no, that is Social Democrats. You can get a lot of popularity for Social Democrats going this way. Research, industry, oil. That's 12 oil. That's 16 oil. And this one is 18, so I'm kind of leaning towards the Maximoto. Either go totalist or not commie. Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't really play communist nations very often, so I kind of feel like playing as a communist for once. Although the fascist route also seems kind of interesting. Loads of industry. Recruitable population. And then this is other stuff. These are just mutually exclusive. They don't seem to be dependent on anything. We can join the Internationale. We can't join any other factions. So I think that's definitely kind of pushing us towards socialism, honestly. Otherwise we'd be on our own. We can't establish a faction, which means kind of a boring game. So yes, I think we will be embracing totalism, so we need to get colours into power. Monarchy sounds really weak in this one. Like, we've done loads of monarchist games. No, we're going to go totalist. I don't do many totalist games, so we're doing that. Okay, so, totalism. Does that give me any infrastructure? I don't think it did. Nope. It also gives you a very early research compared to the others. Alright, so we are going to start establishing some infrastructure in the places where we have the most factory potential, which is here in the centre. Well, it's these 3 and 4 in the centre. So we're going to go industry. No, we're going to go industry, 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 infrastructure, 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 infrastructure. Fantastic, cool. Then we are going to go infantry equipment, support equipment, and artillery. We'll do that. Yeah, that looks fine. And we could start a focus. We could start on the economic reforms and just go straight for the political power. Seeing as we can't get any of the others yet, we will grab that. And then technology, construction, production, and research. Kind of standard here. Mordred, if you go with tanks, you should invade Cuba. I know from my Brazil game that Cuba just becomes a ridiculous fortress. Like, Cuba is hard to take. So we can get the industrial thing. We have a little bit of infantry equipment stuff. Ooh, their companies are not very strong. In fact, these look suspiciously vanilla. So light tanks and motorized. So we're going to be relying on light tanks and motorized. And fighters, along with destroyers. Don't build many of them. And then hopefully there are some armoured spearhead for totalists. Armoured spearhead, totalist. So yes, we can get armoured spearhead. In fact, we have a choice between 2. And then over here, school of manoeuvre, totalists. Lots of schools of defence. And then the other end, the national populists get a lot of manoeuvre. So the populists would actually be the strongest militarily. So we'll probably go manoeuvre, psychology, maybe even 2 psychology. For loads of division organisation. So we'll go with some light tanks and then just really big infantry. So maybe we'll even go mass assault. What's that population like? It's not huge. 16 million. It's not actually a huge population. So this is most likely to be Grand Battle Plan. I don't think we really have the population for the mass assault, because you need big population for the really big infantry units. Grand Battle Plan is good for punching through stuff. Superior firepower I just don't rate. And then mobile warfare is only really if you're planning to use a lot of tanks, which we probably won't. We'll use tanks, sure. They'll be our breakthrough, like, punching through. So we could go, like, mobile infantry, I guess. Improves our motorized quite dramatically. Maybe we will go mobile. So maybe mechanized units or motorized units. Soviet Union is stupidly easy in Kaiserreich. I have done a Soviet game where I started out as Russia, got something like minus 1,500 political power or something during the revolution, flipped to socialist and wiped. All of it's just completely wiped. They need to find a way of carrying your current political power across when you tag switch. Otherwise it's just too easy. Like, you've gone from disaster to everything completely fine. And they have ridiculous amounts of manpower. I think I ended with 10 million manpower on volunteer only or something like that. So, less interested in the Soviets just because I know how easy they are. Although I do like playing as Russia. Russia is a really good game. Probably one of my favourites. It's either Germany or Russia. Alright, otherwise, what are our plans? Well, we are probably certainly going to intervene in the USA. We are probably certainly going to push south. In fact, we're just going to take the Americas. That's my goal. We're going to take the Americas. We're going to try and support the International as far as we can, being totalist. We want to be super interventionist. Edward's been crowned. Start with a fairly decent number of troops. Infanteria 2 comes with artillery. Regular infantry does not. So we're going to change your icon to be the artillery icon. That's the official artillery icon, by the way. Carles embraces totalism after his return flight from the Union of Britain. There are rumours that he is working on a new project to reform the Partido and advance his brand of totalism here in Mexico. Well, let's hope it does come to that. That's what I want. Shush you. I think there is something for doctrines in the focus tree. That is a good point. We should probably check that. Military reforms. So we can either invest in the infantry, which is infantry weapon support, grand battle plan, or superior firepower. This is definitely looking like superior firepower. Or we can get the cavalry, which is mobile warfare, land doctrine, armor, and then that's another military, another science thing. Infantry equipment production cost. Division organisation is quite nice, especially if we're going with psychology. Our units are going to have a lot of organisation. Or we could go mobile doctrine, which is mobile warfare. There's no other bonuses on this line. I think we're going to go grand battle plan. Might be something in the totalist tree as well. I don't think there was. I can double check it for sure. Oh, this tree is massive. National unity, political power, efficiency, daily political. Max factories and state. Political power, factories, research, construction speed. For a land doctrine, it doesn't matter which. Oh, these are if we take America. That's cool. Or if we take Los Angeles. Did I make a Canada campaign? No, I didn't. Sorry, yes. Yes, I have played as Canada. But it was a long time ago, and it's something I probably should look into doing again. Okay, Mexico does not make much political power. Blimey. What are we at the moment? We are syndicalists. So we have the Zapatas, which are just syndicalist. 46%. So you probably have the most political power playing as Zapata. So either unionist or more militant by the looks of things. Economic reforms. Good. Assassination attempt on President Zapata. Breaking news from Mexico City. This morning, as he was about to attend a meeting with the local syndicalists in the Zocalo Square, President Emiliano Zapata was stabbed in the head with an ice pick by an unknown assailant. That sounds suspiciously like Trotsky. The suspect fled through the narrow streets of downtown Mexico City, and the local police are still after him. Meanwhile, Zapata was rushed to a nearby hospital where a battle between life and death continues. A dead president is dead and a power struggle ensues, or he quickly recovers and he's back in business. Just out of interest, what are the options here? No, we're doing the totalist. I mean, this is interesting. There's a lot of different choices there. But he's dead. Sorry, Zapata. He dead. And Pius also died. And Zapata is dead. This morning, the hero of the revolution and president of Mexico, Emiliano Zapata, passed away with the injuries he sustained after a terrorist attack in Mexico City. Immediately after his death, several groups from loyal politicians to reactionary generals initiated a power struggle to seize control of the government and the military. Plutarco Cullis and his military clique seized the Policio Nacional. The totalists come into power. Change in popularity of totalists 30%. This one is Zapata's aide. So the syndicalists take over with a new guy. Or paternal autocrats take over. No, this is the reactionaries. Army experience gain, division recovery rate. Reformist soldier. Pretty decent. But no, we're bringing in Cullis, which is a daily political power gain reduction, consumer goods reduction, factory output increase, and factory gain efficiency increase. Or these guys, which is land for production, army experience, max planning, infrastructure construction speed, production efficiency. They're not bad. How good are these guys? Land fort construction, not great. Oh, he's good. Political power reduced, recruitable population reduced, massive reduction to consumer goods factories, which is very good. And construction, actually, with Cullis, we're going to have a very strong industry. National unity increase, fine, decryption increase, and political power gain. He's actually pretty useful. We're going with Plutarco and Cullis. So I think political power is going to become even more of an issue. Or we could start to embrace totalism. What is our totalist control? 53%. We want it to get to 60 at least so that we can get high party popularity. And that's political power gain increase. So yeah, I think we need to start embracing totalism. I love how these just don't have descriptions. Cullis and the new government of Mexico. Yesterday, following the death of President Zapata, Plutarco Cullis and his military clique seized the Policio Nacional. The new president is now expected to deliver his first words to the nation. Most importantly, the people is anxious regarding the next presidential election scheduled for June. Will they still happen? Maybe they'll only be postponed. Suspend the elections. Too proletariat dictatorship is coming. Which gives us a corrupt kleptocrat, apologetic clerk, prince of terror, and a political specialist. I think we'll have the elections as planned. When did you say June? It's next month. I think we want to get as far down this line as possible before we do that. Hey, Bussy. So we're going to postpone it until December. Just to make sure that we can get the totalists properly in place. And then hopefully we can get some better ministers than the ones it was offering us immediately. I think that's probably a good idea. Oswald Mosley, elected as chairman of the TUC. Things are looking up for the totalists, as now Mexico and the Union of Britain, both totalist. I wonder which way France will go. The Third Internationale. France has gone through the designs to hold the first Congress of the Third Internationale, and we, as expected, have received an invitation. It would be foolish not to send a delegation. The situation in the Americas is getting worse, and we may need some help from Europe. Borrow a plane from the USA to get to Paris. We'll borrow a plane. It'll be fine. Downfall instability. Kind of expected. John Jack Reed and the Combined Syndicates. American journalist, poet and syndicalist activist John Jack Reed spoke to the Congress for an hour and 15 minutes about the crisis facing the United States and a chance for revolution in America. He has asked for the Third International support. This may be the perfect chance to regain territory in the northern border. We're going to offer you support. We'll conquer you later, but this might just give us some free territory, which would be nice. Feels kind of dirty back in the commies because they're almost always your enemies. This is true. One of these days I really must try a game as the Commune of France, because I've never played as them. I don't actually know how their focus tree or anything works. Right, electronic mechanical engineering, good. Let's get the research time as well. In fact, you know what I've totally forgotten to do is check out my armies and get them training up. And generals, do we have anyone good? We have an engineer, we have a commando, we have a trickster, we have a panzer leader. I do wish that these icons were different from the there is no one assigned icon. Trickster, fortress buster, you're the one I want. That is the most useful ability. Well, actually fortress buster is just forts. There is one which is urban attack. Because forts don't actually get built that often. Engineer, maybe I should just go for the highest level. Commando's alright. Panzer leader's good. Trickster's good too. And what does reconnaissance actually do? I'm pretty sure it increases your ability to attack stuff. Just going to double check. High reconnaissance increases the division's side in a battle, picking the combat tactic for the current day of fighting that's better counters the enemy's chosen tactic. Okay, so it goes hand in hand with decryption. So you kind of need a good commander for that. You know what, we'll do it. Or do we have someone with pictures? Nope, we have absolutely nobody with a picture. Alright. Do we have anything of a navy or anything like that? Mark Leake has declared Mongolia. We have 14 ships. The Armada de Mexico. One pre-Whelk Creek battle cruiser, a light cruiser, and a bunch of destroyers. Yeah, I think we're going to be operating with a mostly destroyer fleet. So getting across the Atlantic is going to be interesting. Maybe destroyers and battle cruisers, or destroyers and heavy cruisers. Arab Congress, cool. Wreck Canada. I intend to. I also intend to wreck basically everyone else in the Americas. I'm going to offer no apologies, but I'm going to paint the entire continent green. Alright, so we've embraced totalism. Still only in May. So we can get the Maximoto, which is national unity and political power gain increase. Start that. We're just going to go as far down this line as we can. You guys are training pretty quickly. What are our divisions actually like? Rubbish. Slightly less rubbish. Rubbish. Well, they're not terrible. I mean, they're 18 combat width. Something easily changed. It's a fairly decent base, actually, compared to some. Polish military seizes control. That's another game I need to do one of these days. One of these days is play as Poland. Alright, basic machine tools. We will get concentrated industry. No real reason not to. Revolution in Siam. Do we have anyone that's actually totalist? No, these are all radical socialists. That's not good. And you're a syndicalist. That's too bad, because he's a really good economy minister. Yeah, the daily political power gain reduction hurts. But it's not completely outrageous. But it does mean that we're going to have a lot of events going, yeah, they're unhappy with you. Change their party popularity or spend even more political power. Do we have anything that increases infrastructure? Don't think we do we? Nope. Right, that's a white peace between those two. Afghanistan survived. Is there ever an argument to take dispersed over concentrated industry? In my mind, not really. I mean, the only time is if you're expecting to go up against someone who's going to be bombing the living daylights out of you, which is rare, because if you take concentrated industry, you just get more fighters in the air. And it does give you more production efficiency base, that's true. So if you're not expecting... conversion speed bonus. Oh, it does give you more conversion speed. Oh, that's only on the bottom level. I'm trying to think when there would be a reason to do it. I mean, the efficiency base is 5%. Usually the difference between the factory output is 5%. So you have to allow your factory output to reach the maximum. Otherwise it's basically the same. And that's why I like the concentrated more. If the factory output was better for dispersed, but you could get more factories in a state with this, which would mean this is more resource intensive, that would be a more interesting difference. The only real benefit of this one is that it gives you the production efficiency retention, which I guess would be useful if you're constantly switching production types. It's not a great choice. Like, I don't think I've ever taken it.